My name is Alex, and back in 2003, my high school was a war zone of petty thefts that left me out 150 and fuming. Someone broke into my locker, swiped my graphing calculator, and the school had the nerve to blame me for it. But with the help of a crafty detective, I turned that loss into a trap that exposed a thief and brought down a whole crime ring. If you've ever had something stolen and dreamed of justice, smash that like button, subscribe, and let's dive into this wild story of revenge. It was my junior year at a small-town high school, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, and the hallways smelled like cheap floor wax and teenage angst. Lockers lined the corridors, their faded green paint chipped from years of use. Every day, kids slammed them shut, the metallic clangs echoing like a drumline. But that year, something sinister was brewing. A crime wave, they called it. Lockers were being raided. Wallets, phones, jewelry, you name it. Not every locker, but enough that everyone knew someone who'd been hit. Whispers filled the halls. Did you hear? Sarah's necklace is gone. Mike's Game Boy vanished. It was like a ghost was slipping through the locks, and no one felt safe. I kept my head down mostly because my friends were the kind of jackasses who'd prank each other for laughs. Think gum in your backpack or fake love notes. So I never shared my locker combo. Not once. My locker was my fortress, holding my books, my snacks, and my prized TI-86 graphing calculator. If you were in high school in 2003, you know that thing was a lifeline for math class, and it cost a fortune. I'd saved up for months, mowing lawns in the sticky summer heat, to buy that 150 beast. It had my name scratched into the battery compartment, a mark of pride. Then one day, I swung open my locker between classes, and my stomach dropped. The calculator was gone. Just gone. The space where it sat was empty, like a punch to the gut. I checked every corner, my hands shaking as I rifled through notebooks. Nothing. I felt my face burn, not just from the loss but from the betrayal. Someone had cracked my locker, and the school's response? You must have shared your combo. They didn't care. Worse, they charged me $150 to change the lock. $150 I didn't have. In 2003, that was a month's worth of gas money. I was livid, my fists clenched so tight my nails dug into my palms. My dad, though, wasn't one to let things slide. He was buddies with a county detective. Let's call him Uncle Buddy. A guy with a gravelly voice and a knack for sniffing out trouble. Over beers, Dad told him about the thefts, and Uncle Buddy's eyes lit up. He showed up at our house a few days later, a sly grin on his face, carrying a laptop bag. Alex, he said, leaning in like he was sharing a secret. Put this in your locker. Tell everyone you've got a brand new laptop. Spread the word. I raised an eyebrow, confused, but I trusted him. Sure, Uncle Buddy. The laptop was sleek, way fancier than anything I'd ever owned, and the bag screamed expensive. I felt a thrill, like I was part of some undercover sting. At school, I played my part. Between classes, I bragged to my friends, loud enough for others to hear. Yo, check it out, I got this new laptop. It's sick. I tossed it in my locker, locked it tight, and waited. 3 days later, I opened my locker, and my heart skipped. The laptop bag was gone. So was a 24-ounce Coke I'd left in there, and a couple of pens. The familiar sting of violation hit me again, but this time, I had a plan. I texted Uncle Buddy. Laptop's gone. His reply came fast. Stand by for the shit show. Oh, and you reported the theft to the police, FYI. I stared at my flip phone, my pulse racing. What was he up to? The next morning, the school was buzzing. Uncle Buddy rolled up with 3 uniformed officers, their boots clicking on the linoleum. They marched into second period and pulled a kid named Dave out of class. Dave was a senior, lanky with a smug grin, the kind of guy who always had an excuse. His mom worked in the front office, which made him untouchable, or so he thought. The principal, a red-faced guy named Mr. Thompson, was apoplectic, shouting about audacity and disrupting his school. But Uncle Buddy didn't flinch. Here's where it gets juicy. That laptop bag? It had a GPS tracker tucked inside. Uncle Buddy had used it to get a warrant to search Dave's house, and what they found was a gold mine of stolen goods, jewelry, electronics, even my TI-86. Turns out, Dave had been using his mom's login to access the school's network, pulling locker combos for nearly every student. He'd pop open random lockers, cherry-picking valuables like he was shopping at a mall. The laptop was worth over $1,000, which bumped the theft to a felony. My calculator? A misdemeanor. But here's the kicker. Because I'd changed my lock after the calculator theft, Dave's break-ins on separate days meant he got hit with both charges from me alone. Uncle Buddy wasn't done. The next day, he set up a tent just outside school grounds, a big banner stretched across it. "If you've had something stolen from your locker, see me." Kids flocked to it, spilling stories of missing headphones, cash, even a class ring. By the end of the week, Dave and his mom were slapped with 9 felony charges and 35 misdemeanors, totaling $12,000 in stolen goods for the felonies and $3,000 for the misdemeanors. And that was just what they could prove. The real number was likely way higher. Hundreds of thefts over the year. The school's response to all this? Nothing. They'd brushed off every complaint, blaming kids for sharing combos, even fighting Uncle Buddy's warrant for security footage, citing student privacy. Privacy, my ass. They just didn't want to admit they'd let a crime spree fester under their noses. But the community wasn't having it. A group of 218 students, including me, joined a class action lawsuit against the school district. They'd charged us $150 each to change our locks, despite knowing about the thefts and doing nothing. After legal fees, we each got $85 back, and the school was out $21,800 plus their own legal costs. The cherry on top? Mr. Thompson, the principal, got the boot for ignoring the problem. Then came the trial, and oh, it was glorious. Dave and his mom faced a mountain of evidence. Security footage of Dave slipping into over 20 lockers, stolen goods piled up in their house, even my calculator with my name etched inside. The prosecutor offered a deal. 10 years for Dave, 15 for his mom. They rolled the dice and went to trial. Big mistake. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with a voice like steel, wasn't amused. She hit Dave with 9 years in prison, 1 for each felony, and 35 months of probation for the misdemeanors. His mom, 18 years in jail and 6 years probation. I sat in the courtroom, watching Dave's smug grin fade as the gavel slammed. His mom's face crumpled, her hands shaking as she realized her role in enabling his spree had cost her everything. The best part? I got my TI-86 back. I popped open the battery compartment, saw my name scratched inside, and felt a rush of triumph. That calculator, now a relic, sits on my shelf, a trophy from the time I helped take down a thief. Looking back, this wasn't just about a calculator or a laptop. It was about justice, about standing up to a system that blamed victims and let criminals run free. Karma doesn't always come, but when it does, it hits hard. Dave and his mom learned that the hard way, and I'll never forget the look on their faces when the truth came crashing down. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell us in the comments. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? Subscribe for more epic Reddit revenge stories, and let's keep the justice rolling.